Hi, guys. Welcome to this amazing podcast. And today we are having an amazing guest with us, Mr. Shamim Khaleed. He's the co founder and CTO of Quantum Human. So, hi, Shamim.
Hi, Bappy.
Yeah,
How are
hi.
you?
Yeah, I'm doing well. What about you?
Good, good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I was very excited to meet you and have you in this podcast because uh, it's been long. Actually, we have been talking each other over the online, and finally we're talking face to face. So yeah, I'm very much excited for that.
Thank you. I'm really glad to be here.
Thank you so much. So Shamim, as I already know you, who you are, and what you are doing currently, but what about our audience? So maybe you can give a little bit of introduction about yourself, like what you are doing, and just tell us about your background.
Yeah, so I completed my master's in the United States around 2012 and then jumped into the industry. So my background is a software engineer, a full stack software engineer. I worked for major companies like the Wall Street Journal. So lived in New York for most of my life. Um, I have family here in Bangladesh, so I have this connection, a deep connection. I come and visit once in a while. So, yeah, I've been in the industry learning how things go, but for some reason, I've never enjoyed the corporate world so much. As in, I was always curious about building things for myself, being my own boss, and also the idea of working on projects that does not bring me passion.
Yeah.
That didn't sit well with me.
Hmm.
So during my time, I traveled the world, more than 20 countries, exploring different cultures, backgrounds, how things run in different cities, the mindset of people. So that gave me more and more courage and also expand my sort of like my mind in that. And that made me really curious about self development and health. So currently, I'm the CTO of an artificial intelligence company called Quantum Human. Our mission is to take your data, for example, from wearables like Aura Ring, Muse, etc., understand your patterns, understand your unique nature, and then inspire you to focus your effort in self improvement. So basically, helping you evolve, reaching the next potential. So over the course of my life, I've invested, I would say, a lot of money um, on my own self improvement, right? Because a lot of the times I see we all like tend to live in a bubble,
Hmm.
and we think what we are doing, what we're saying, what we're thinking is the best or is the ultimate, is the right thing.
Absolutely.
So that, people call it as ego. But then when you speak to other people, when you're in new environments that makes you uncomfortable, your the weaker sides come out, your shadow side comes out, and people observe that. And through that, if you get the right feedback, you learn. And then some people are lucky to have the right mentors, right? Like you mentioned, you had this professor of yours in college who inspired you.
Yeah,
So not everyone is lucky to have said mentors. So it's
absolutely.
like I've been always curious about learning where inspiration comes from, where motivation comes from, right? And then you have the advent of artificial intelligence with OpenAI, how they utilize the transformer technology to build this really cool LLM. And through that, we have generative AI building new content. And that allowed anyone, even with just a computer and a little bit of knowledge, to build things that were not quite possible before. So that inspired me to, how do I take this advantage of this? Because I think the time is very limited in 24-hour basis. Like, if you have a 9 to 5 job,
Hmm.
how do you get to create something on the side? Okay, I know how to code. I know how to build things, but still, do I have the energy and effort if your corporate life takes tolls on you, right? So that's how, we founded this company called Quantum AI. Um, sort of, I'm spearheading the development of the technology. It's a RAG application. We'll go dive deeper into it, but in an essence, that's where I am. I'm here in Bangladesh just to be with family. So you're working remote, and you recently joined the team as
Yeah.
an AI ML engineer. I
Thank you so
enjoyed
much
your
for that.
videos, and that's how I reached out. Yeah.
Yeah. So, guys, I think you already got the introduction of Shamim, and you already know that I joined Quantum Human, and you've been asking, sir, what you are doing in the company. I think you got some glimpse of our work, right? No issue, just be with us. We'll be talking about more about our work, what we are doing, and definitely how we are utilizing these kinds of AI uh, to optimize human, to optimize health. Okay, each and everything we'll be talking about. And I think you already know about me. I don't need to introduce myself. I'm Boktir Hamid Bappi, and I have been running DSwithBappy. It's been a long time, and yeah. So here I create different contents like AI, machine learning, deep learning, generative AI, ML ops, all kinds of content you will be getting over my channel. Yeah. So Shamim, as you mentioned, you were the CTO of Quantum Human, and lots of our audience have the questions like what exactly Quantum Human is, like how you got the name. That means what is the idea behind the name, like you named this company as Quantum Human, and what you are doing exactly there.
So the credit goes to my co-founders TJ and Sylvia. They're based in currently in Texas, Dallas. I think the name is inspired from the quantum nature of reality because we have quantum physics, we have current physics, there are certain different laws, and the, the, the more quantum you go, the more subtler versions of reality you can find. So I think that has inspired to come up with that name. We also wanted something, I believe, that connects technology, nature, and the human body. So I think that's how the name was, uh, you know, coined.
Okay, yeah. And it's an interesting name also. When I joined this company first time, I was thinking like, uh, I'm in a company called Quantum Human. So here, I can think like this is a kind of mirror of a person
Mm.
I can think about, right? And what kinds of projects actually Quantum Humans is doing currently?
Yeah, that's a great question. Um, so right now, the first phase of the of our MVP that we're trying to release is basically how much insights and uniqueness we can understand about the individual. And one way is collecting data, your sleep data, your
Hmm.
HRV, heart rate variability, things like that. So those data comes in from one of the examples is I don't think people in Bangladesh use it yet. Maybe they do. If I don't know how much percent of the people are really enthusiastic in longevity and health, but in the United States, it's $1 billion industry,
Yeah.
health improvement, life optimization. So sleep, if you take sleep, um, the Aura Ring, you attach it, and there's some tiny sensors that collect data, your vibrations from your skin, and throughout the night, through your breath and through different mechanisms, understand the cycles of deep sleep, REM sleep, things like that, and they
Hmm.
give you score. So they take that and give you insights to how you can better optimize your sleep, right? Because sleep is the fundamental drive force of everything we do,
Yeah.
right? If you want better health, if you want to be a good student, a good person in society, it's much better if you have a good night's sleep.
Hmm.
You'll be less cranky, more amicable to people, and also a better
Hmm.
focused at work too. So sleep is one factor. and HRV, or heart rate variability. And there are other numerous data points that we'd like to explore. Like we're also about to, in the upcoming weeks, get your brainwave data from a device called Muse. So the idea behind Quantum Human is gather data um, and then feed it to our LLM or our RAG application,
Yeah.
and initiate a conversation with the user. So it's in the essence, it's a chatbot, an AI chatbot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have our own proprietary ways that we are trying to train it and build this unique interaction with the user, so that they have the platform to develop themselves to the next level.
Hmm. That interesting. You mentioned that you will be using one device that will be interacting with our brain. So that means it will be taking the EEG signals.
Right.
Interesting. And I'm proud that I'm the part of the team.
We're glad to have you. I really enjoyed your courses, the way you teach, the way you break down things,
Thank you so much.
and yeah, I think you are the right person to be. I'm really happy with the work you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it. Yeah, so can you please tell us, because see, uh, we have AI since like very long time.
Hmm.
People are using that. So how you will differentiate our traditional AI with the current AI technology, like generative AI? It came in the market
Hmm.
and it is booming all the industry, right? But previously it was not that kinds of powerful. Uh, the powerful it is now today's market, right? So what would be your thought on that? Like, what is the difference between our traditional AI and the generative AI technology we're using nowadays?
Yeah. So the essence of AI is, how do you make a machine have the same intelligence or more of a human being, right?
Hmm.
Scientists have been trying it. Alan Turing in the 1950s, he had the Turing test, where he placed this human in between a machine, and another human, and he was not. He was given the opportunity to interact with both of them, and the idea is, if you want to pass the Turing test,
Hmm.
the person who is having this conversation should not be able to differentiate between, is he talking to a human being or talking to a machine. So the inspiration behind has begun long back, even before Turing, in some cases. And then you had the advent of neural networks, and then how everything exploded through semiconductors and
Hmm.
transistors, the power to compute, the advent of machine and computers, especially. So I think the spark has begun way long back, and you have, so in the traditional AI, people think about machine learning,
Yeah. Mostly predictive model.
predictive model, right? If you talk about healthcare, if you give them a data of an X-ray or an MRI, through the models they use go through supervised learning. So you
Hmm.
have a lot of data sets. You train the model. You know, this is a sign of a tumor. This is not a sign of a tumor. Train it with thousands of data sets.
Yeah.
Create the model. Do a lot of back propagation and things like that, and then finally you give it the testing data. Okay, is this does this picture, is this a benign tumor or a malign tumor? Is it like, does it indicate anything? So it's like
Hmm.
basic classification.
Yeah.
So classification, prediction, stock. So we have been using AI for a while, but recently the evolution comes in generating AI,
Hmm.
generative, meaning bringing out new content,
It generates something new.
something new, something novel, like a new idea,
Hmm.
right? So that's where the potential has just like skyrocketed. What we can do with it, because at the end of the day, human intelligence, how intelligent will be, we have some limited factors, right? We have fatigue, we have biases, so different elements, and we can only focus on one aspect. many of us, unless you are super intelligent, human being. So AI has unlocked something really primal, something really powerful, part of our brain. And it's funny how it was all the networks, the transformers, the neural networks were built. The neural networks, the essence, were inspired by the human brain. So I really find it fascinating. A lot of these technologies are inspired by how humans are we're designed,
Design, yeah.
right? And we have seen this in nature too. It's called biomimicry. It's
Mimicry,
like
yeah.
if you if you look at the um not the B2 bombers that the U.S. used to attack the nuclear facilities.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, um, it the shape of the plane takes the form of a falcon called peregrine falcon. So the way the shape, the way it flies, it twists its shapes its feathers like a teardrop, and it glides through the air. And the shape leads to minimal drag and resistance. So it was inspired by that.
Okay.
And the bird is, it gets its prey in midair. It flies in a super speed. So this aircraft is used like a stealth, like super speed, very secretive. So we have seen how nature has inspired technology, even through the discovery or invention of aerodynamics, flight, etc. So yeah, coming back to the point, generative AI, it's really powerful. It gives you a normal human being a lot of power to build stuff, images, text, music, art, whatever you call it. At the heart of them is the language model. Yeah. So I would love, and I think majority of your courses in your channel is teaching people how to build this sort of
Yeah.
applications, right? Yeah. So
Yeah. And I mean, what is your journey so far? Like, you told you started software engineering,
mm,
mostly full stack development, and you currently working with AI technology. So, what was your journey? Like, how you thought like I have to work in this area because it has lots of potential. Okay, because if you see currently AI is transforming the human potential.
mhm.
So, what would be your thought on top of that?
Yeah, it's a great question. So for me, I'll tell you for the first, I'd like to tell you how AI has transformed my work as a software engineer.
Yeah.
It's totally shifting. Right now, you have tools that will generate code for you.
Yeah.
So the essence of language models is like they take human language and then they take it
Write the
and
entire code.
yeah, entire code, whatever the content you want. But the essence is the communication, right? That's the main focus of building these models so that they understand the human language. So that's one way it has transformed my work, building, writing code that would take weeks in a few hours. Okay, debugging things. If you take Claude AI for example, Claude CLI, if you run it in your repository in GitHub or on your local machine, if you ask it to explain the entire code base, it will take it and it's intelligent enough to understand and mirror it back to you. So in a way, it has optimized, it has made your work much more efficient. So for me, for example, as a CTO, I have to look at the overall project management, the finances, and projection, etc., and also code, right? So in a way, it is helping me balance my work. Um, but in terms of coming back to your question, my journey has never changed. I enjoyed software engineering, but the thing was I have like many interests. I am really deeply embedded in spirituality and self development, uh, health optimization, neuroscience, and things like that. So I've always wanted to work on a project, but also that uses technology. And when AI was began to boom, it it gave me, I felt the freedom and the sovereign nature of, I can do it. So I had the motivation. I have this tool. I can build whatever I want. So that's how it got me leading into understanding more about what is this artificial intelligence, right? But also you'll see, it's not always like the beautiful good picture we always put out there. AI has been used for things that are dark in nature as well, like when it's used in military and targeting innocent people. We're reading the news all the time, so it's anything that we have this philosophy in Eastern Chinese traditions. You have yin yang, you have the black symbol.
Yeah.
So it's like the dark and the good nature, the light nature, the darkness and the light, right? So we humans have that, the good part and the dark part.
Dark part, yeah.
We always try to hide the dark in society, right?
Yeah.
On the front of the family members, sometimes the
That's
darkness
true.
come
That's
out, right?
true.
But even if you look at this AI technology, it has huge potential. It can cure diseases, discover new drugs, but also it can be used, if in the wrong hands, as a military weapon for subjugation.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's going on. So AI has the potential to transform. So my mission is to harness the technology and how I can use it, to areas where it will benefit human beings, benefit myself, people around me. Yeah.
And why do you think like generative AI is super important for self-development?
It's a great question again. Because the essence, one of the core features of the large language models is it has been trained on a large number of data sets.
Yeah.
It understands the language, the nuances. It understands human nature. It has some idea about it. Uh, you know, so if you go to talk to an LLM right now, and like OpenAI or like ChatGPT or Gemini or Grok, for instance, right? You tell it like, hey, this is my sleep score. What do you think? And it can give you insights on how to improve your sleep. So the model is already kind of trained, and through that's just one example. You can talk about different areas of your life that might need self-improvement, right? Let's say I'm having a hard time focusing at work or focusing at school, right? And through its knowledge base or through the data it has been trained, it knows it knows the entire relationship, the semantic relationship with what comes with focus. And you can train the application to ask the user certain questions and go really, really deeper, gather the data and send it back to the model, and it can do its own analysis and give you the right feedback, right? If you can create that structure and you can apply to different areas of life. For example, creating a routine.
Yeah.
Right? How do I build a routine? How do I lower my stress? How do I, it's used in mental therapeutic purposes as well. So the knowledge base is there, it's strong enough. It's been trained in a way, it's semantically powerful. It understands, the key is understanding the human, the language, right? And then giving the right output and taking our feedback and learning more about us. So creating that relationship, I think that gives a really powerful tool for like a companion, so that they can aid in our self-development. That's one. There are so many ways it's used in healthcare, chatbots. Like if you have any sort of like, I'll give you an example. A few days ago, I have a newborn, I think 21 days old. So I recently became a father, a beautiful boy. Um, my wife, she noticed the skin temperature was sort of kind of high. So like body was hot. It was like 1 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
So we took his temperature and it was above 100.
Oh my God.
Okay. And, you know, what would I do? Like, should I stay and visit the doctor tomorrow? So I went to perplexity. Okay. And I gave it the symptoms. It's like, okay, you know, it could be some form of infection. And if it's above 100, you have to visit the doctor immediately. So I looked up the nearest hospital for children.
Yeah.
We packed up, we went, and he was admitted. Okay. So, and it all happened because I was able to ask artificial intelligence, the LLM, instead of just searching through Google endlessly,
Yeah.
right? So it has this vast knowledge base that it was trained on, and it was able to give me insights like a regular doctor.
Yeah.
Right.
So you don't need to wait for the doctor to understand what happened.
Yeah, take immediate action, because a lot of these diseases happen. A lot of this you'll see in the medical literature. This specific disease, sepsis, I was listening to this TED talk. A lot of the cases, the diagnosis is missed by the medical institution. They try this test and that test, and even given the right data, there's always a chance for human error. But then if you feed the symptoms to the model that has been trained in the vast medical literature knowledge, you can save lives. There's potential of saving lives, and also finding out places where your diagnosis was missed, certain variables were missed. So yeah, it has potential. I've seen people beginning to realize and use it more often. My father, when he discovered AI, he's like hooked with it. It's like all the time asking its questions. You know, it gives you all the answers, right? But yeah, if it it's very very practical and essential to to see ways, to find ways how you can harness artificial intelligence and use it for self development.
That is interesting.
Mm.
Yeah. And in self development, there are some pillars, right? We have to follow majorly.
Mm.
Self development means it includes your health, your body, your mind, everything.
Right.
So I think sleep would be one pillar here, right? So what do you think? Like how much it is important of sleep? That means what is the science of perfecting our sleep for the health optimizations or self development?
Yeah, it's a very interesting topic, very dear to me, because a few years back, my sleep quality was really bad. It's we grow up, we sleep anyways we can, right? But there's some really important factors. I think schools need to train children, especially um, teenagers. Yeah, it's really hard. I remember when I was in high school, low quality sleep used to impact my attention, focus. I did not know why. So coming back, reflecting back, and one of the major issues was sleep. So I would say, if you would like to perfect your sleep, first off, it's do not drink too much coffee or tea at the end of the day. Have your meal maybe 7, 8 p.m. At least keep some space between the time you fall asleep, the time you eat, because the body needs time to digest. So that slowly your organs relax and everything, so you can fall asleep and your mind is not overthinking. And have a reset button, like don't constantly think about things very late at night.
Yeah.
A lot of
That's why
people.
it is important to capture the sleep data.
Yes, yes, exactly. So with if you have a device, it can measure your brain patterns, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your breath patterns, right? If you even let's say there is also a direct connection between how you breathe and your levels of anxiety.
Yeah.
So someone who is always anxious, right? They'll be like always like they're breathing from the chest
Hmm.
and it's very fast. Someone
Fast,
who
yeah.
is like calm,
Hmm.
relaxed, confident, right? They're like always they're breathing from the belly. They're always calm, confident, you know. So one way is you can train your breath to improve your sleep. Before you sleep, you take some deep breaths, you know, like 4 seconds inhale, 5 seconds exhale. And there is another breathing technique called alternate nostril breathing, where you inhale from one and exhale from one. There's like an entire plethora of science-based breathing techniques that can calm yourself down. And once you do that, you can also read the data, how your HRV changes and how you rest the whole night,
Hmm.
right? You'll have better deep sleep. Your deep sleep is going to be much stronger because a lot of the things you do during the day. Let's say you're a student, right?
Yeah.
You learn some new
Hmm.
materials to synthesize that and ground that in your brain. The deep sleep is needed. A good deep sleep, it
Hmm.
just captures your. It's needed for your memory and retention, right? So that's why sleep impacts all these areas of your life. And another thing is, try to don't have any artificial lights while you sleep. It's
Hmm.
like pitch dark is the best. Okay, no
Correct.
scrolling before an hour or two before sleeping. And yeah, just calm your nervous system down. Talk to your family or loved ones before you an hour before sleep. Be a little more social, happy, and slowly fall asleep. And then you'll have great sleep, and then you're ready and refreshed for your next day. Because um, I'm curious,
Hmm.
because I'm curious uh, about your sleep patterns. Do you mind sharing? Like, how do you feel well rested when you wake up?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. And why is the reason?
Because I usually go to bed late night.
There you go.
Sorry for that, guys.
No, no. I think you're really focused in your work, but yeah, a lot of people in the industry, who are building things, are always like grinding,
Yeah.
grinding, grinding, right? And it impacts your sleep.
As you already mentioned that doing these kinds of work is really hard, as you have like lots of work, your own company, your personal work. So sometimes it's very difficult to manage the time.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, sleep is. I think, especially people in this country, I think we need to be more aware. Um, how can sleep impact? Even there was a study done in the United States where a lot of the major road accidents
Hmm.
happen because of low sleep quality.
Got it.
There's a slight miss of attention, like anything can happen in that second. So sleep is really crucial.
That is true. Yeah, so we'll try to work on that definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and instead of sleep, how we can grow ourselves by doing hard things like gym, exercises, diet, and nutrition.
Hmm. Absolutely. So sleep is one factor, right?
Hmm.
You have to fix that first. If you sleep 3 hours a day and you go to the gym, first of all, you'll not be at your highest level. You won't have the energy to push through. And for gym, one of the fundamental keys of muscle growth is recovery. Like, you work out and how much do you rest, right?
Rest, yeah.
So sleep impacts that. It'll take harder if you have sleep quality is low. It'll be much harder for you to recover. So okay, let's say you have your sleep, handled. For gym, I think the thing is having some form of regimen with the body, some form of movement, right? Because people like us, we are sitting in front of the computer all day, and that creates pressure in certain parts of our body, right? The way how it changes, it affects our posture, it affects our movement, so we might get strained and easily
Hmm.
injured. So any sort of movement regimen, it's good. I used to love running. I did Muay Thai, martial arts. I do um, I do some movement exercises
Wow.
called qigong. So yeah, there are different forms, and I love gym. But right now, coming to Bangladesh, eating a lot of desi food has taken my weight to the next level. Like a dad, they call it a dad bod. Like when you're a dad, your sort of things become
Uh,
slightly expanded. So yeah, having so exercise, everyone knows it. After you have a good workout,
hmm.
you feel you feel very relaxed and focused, right? Strong. It's because there are certain chemicals that's been produced in your body, some neurotransmitters, and those gives you a perception of happiness, focus. If you and then with some rest, and you continue create and you have to be consistent with whatever you pick.
Hmm.
It could be running, it could be walking, it could be cycling, it could be martial arts, anything, right? Consistency is key, and that will lead to growth. Another big factor is the concept of 1% growth. It's like try to grow by little, have this like grow and learn by little, like take the baby steps so that you know that you are growing in your mind. You are reframing that, you're aware of your growth. Sometimes we feel that I've been doing all these things, I'm not getting anywhere. A lot of people
Hmm.
might feel that, right? But it's because they don't track their growth.
Yeah.
So you can build AI, like a lot of AI technologies, and one of our missions is to track people's growth
Track
as
the whole
well,
growth.
right? And that 1% growth mindset, and then you come into the idea, the science of growth mindset, having this inspiration to come to the next level, right? Either in your career or in your finances or spirituality or health. So mindset, some body training, uh, good food, nutrition. Avoid avoid street food,
Hmm.
especially in Bangladesh.
Although
Avoid.
it's delicious, but we have to have it somehow.
Yeah, yeah. I remember I grew up. I mean, I lived most of my life in New York and outside. And my wife is from Dhaka. One day we were in the, I think, right, maybe a few months after marriage, we were in a rickshaw, and she wanted to eat some fried chicken. For her and for society, it's really delicious. It's like, wow, I want to eat that, taste it. But we don't know how it was cooked, the oil it was made with, right? The place it was fried with. So all this, the way the food was made matters a lot. Okay, the nutrition is one of the keys to longevity.
Hmm.
Right now, if you look at anyone above 40, they're on 3 4 medications. Diseases are spreading,
Yes, that's true.
and the pharmaceutical industry is like smiling. Okay, use more of our
Yeah.
drugs. Drugs don't solve the root issue, right? They just take away the symptoms.
Hmm.
So nutrition is key, sleep, good mindset. Another big factor is good community, right? Have good friends, people who inspire you, right? Like there's a saying like, you are sort of the culmination of the 5 closest people you hang out with.
Hmm.
So if they're talking about AI and science and entrepreneurship, you'll be naturally inspired. But nowadays, people spend, I've seen like young kids, they spend time in TikTok doing like,
Some shitty content.
bro, like, yeah, yeah, okay, that's another topic. But yeah, I think for the youth, this kind of inspiration should come from as a kid, right? Who are your mentors? Things
Hmm.
like that. And once we infuse these ideas at the smaller level, I think there'll be more buppies like you. I think you are one of the few people that are bringing the elevating the awareness of artificial intelligence and technology here, right? And I'm sure in your growth you had some inspiration, maybe from inside or outside. and you'll see you're inspiring a lot of people too. So it's like a chain reaction, right? So yeah.
Even one thing I would like to mention, I got lots of inspiration from you as well.
Mm.
When I researched your profile, I saw different kinds of activity you did. It was really fascinated to me, like uh, throughout your journey, throughout your life, uh, so many things you are doing, right? So it's really inspiring for me as well.
Mm.
Definitely, you will be another my mentor. I will always like to follow.
Thank you. We are always learning from each other. I'm learning from you.
Yeah,
You're learning from me.
yeah, and you mentioned one amazing things that uh, whenever we are following this kinds of self development journey, we have to break down the things. We don't need to take all of them and do, right?
Mm.
We have to break down, and consistently we have to do. We have to complete the target. We have to track the growth, right? So it's super important to track our growth. Sometimes what happens if you're not tracking your growth, so you won't be getting like how much you are improving, right, day by day. So that's why AI comes into picture. So with AI, you can track your growth nowadays. There are so many applications. You just take your picture of the food, it will give you the calories, right? So yeah, so I think break down the task you have, break down the work you have, and work consistently. Okay, if you do that, so definitely nothing is impossible. You can also optimize yourself. You can optimize your health. Everything is possible. Yeah. Okay, so actually, how we can improve our vitality and heal from different diseases.
Ah, I wish I was a doctor, bro. But yeah, generally, I think um, the human system is a complex system, right? Um, or even pathways, the different chemical pathways, the biological pathways. One thing influences another thing. It branches out and then influences another. There's this very interesting complex system. So and people are trying to understand it. The medical scientists, doctors, AI engineers, they're always like doing some research on it. And with the advent of AI, finally we can, you know, build something that would give more insight into the human system, discover different pathways that were not discovered by the human minds before. So that's one of the positive aspects of how artificial intelligence can break into healthcare and amplify healing of disease, discovery of new drugs. Um, but coming back to your vitality, I think diseases happen a number of reasons. People, it's always comes down to one of the major factors. Let's talk about Dhaka. We are in Dhaka right now. The last I checked, the air quality was one of the worst. You have India, you have, I think Bombay. I remember Brian Johnson. I don't know if you know him. He's a big uh, longevity health enthusiast, biohacking guy. So what he does is he has his own YouTube channel. Own brand. He experiments on himself. He has this really strict regimen. He would go to sleep at 8, eat all the right foods, but also he's measuring his blood biomarkers. He's measuring, and then so he's sort of like a living experimentation of health and longevity, what works and what doesn't work. Some people like him, some people don't because of his strictness. So there's always that. So he went to India, I think, for a couple of interviews, and he appeared in a podcast, but he had to leave because the air quality was so bad. He was getting some form of, body was reacting to some of the things. Even he wore masks, He even bought like a humidifier. So air quality is it. If you live in an area that has a lot of particulate matter, so if you look at Bangladesh, where do this come from, right? If I'm in a CNG, I'm exposed to the chemicals that's coming out from the other car of burning the gas and petrol, right? If that impacts you from construction, from the factories. So naturally, the city you're living in, if the weather quality is kind of bad,
Hmm.
it amplifies whatever diseases you have, especially elderly, especially with people who has already autoimmune disorders like with the lungs and different things, right? We have to clean air is number one,
Hmm.
and then obviously food and lifestyle. What kind
Yes.
of food are you eating, right? That is, are you what kind of meat are you eating? What kind of
You
vegetables?
mentioned that like fried chicken,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
we should not
If fried food is
have.
totally bad for you.
Yeah, actually, something happens with me also whenever I go out with my wife.
Yeah.
She tell like I would like to have fuchka.
Mm.
You know already the quality of fuchka and how they build, right? So that definitely is not good for us. But we already know that, but we eat that. We have to avoid it.
Yeah, it's another dimension of how who we are, right? What are our values, right? Are we giving into addiction? I mean, we're always addicted to something. There are people who are addicted to cigarette smokes, people addicted to alcohol, people addicted to drugs, women.
Hmm.
There's so many addictions, right? I love my coffee. Okay, caffeine is sort of like my addiction, right? So I think it's understanding that nature. Like
Hmm.
the more you understand yourself, the more you can detach from that addiction you have, and one day you'll realize, oh, I'm repeating doing this over and over again. Every day I'm doing the same habit. Still, some people will find that awakening. Some people needs push from the outside. Some people need the doctor giving them like a very bad news.
Hmm.
So it's always good to fix it before the issue comes, right? There's a new model of medicine called functional medicine,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
preventive
Hmm.
medicine. It's like, how do you prevent those diseases versus the current traditional?
Hmm.
Like if you go to the doctors that you visit in their medical school, they don't teach you. There's no courses that teach you how to eat healthy food.
Yes,
If
that's
you go
true.
to the doctor, right? How much they'll okay, eat your vegetables, then take this medication, that take this medication, right? That's all.
Yes.
But know how to breathe properly, know how to go to sleep, do some relax, because stress is also one of the
Hmm.
fast causes of diseases. The more you are stressed, the more it messes up your internal body organs, your emotions. They're all linked. Your digestion. A lot of people have digestive
I, I,
issues.
I have experienced that stress issue.
Yeah, it affects your digestion.
That means, yeah, I have everything, but it seems like I'm not happy with anything.
Mm.
It uh, was giving me kinds of depression always, right? And whenever you don't have stress, if you don't have anything also, but you are very active, right?
Mm.
So in my life, I also experienced this thing. Now I can relate why it happens.
Yeah, stress is a big factor in your how healthy and long you live in life. So, um I'll give you an example. My wife was not able to sleep during her pregnancy, and even right now,
Hmm.
the doctor is like, "Oh, take this medication." I'm like, "No, don't have that." There are much more natural ways to teach yourself how to sleep, and not even that drug. There are there are healthier options like plants,
Hmm.
like um, plant-based medicine that will help you, you know, heal more or sleep better. There's a flower called there's a valerian root. There's
Hmm.
this
Hmm. Hmm.
flower. There is another chamomile. So these compounds come from natural plants, and they gives you a sense of relaxation. Versus the drugs that you find in the pharmaceutical industry,
Hmm.
they have severe consequences. They can stop one system, but they have this uh, unseen consequences in another part of your system. So you might feel your, let's say, antibiotics, right? You're having a fever, or you take antibiotic, feel good, but it's messing up with your gut bacteria. It's not only harming the bad bacteria, it's also harming the good
Good
bacteria.
bacteria. Yeah.
So always try for, first option is try the more natural ways instead of a quick fix.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is true, and this is like very true, and definitely we have to follow that, right? Instead of going with the quick approach, we can take some time and we can fix that issue, right,
Hmm.
permanently. And how do you think like generative AI or AI is helping here?
Hmm. Hmm. So
Like you already mentioned quantum human implementing one product that is mostly focusing on the self development. So how AI has the potential to that?
yeah, because um, the pillars of self-development, it's infinite, but we are trying to sort of boil it down to a few, like health, nutrition, spirituality, purpose, mindset, focus, self-growth, etc. So we are trying to get all these topics, and we are building our application based on that. Topics that require, that would help someone reach their highest potential. Okay, we are building our application through the lens of
Mhm.
these domains of self-development. So, and then once we start interacting with you, our application will evoke questions from you, evoke responses from you, and then we'll understand you much better where you are in your self-development journey. Are you sleeping well? How are your relationships? Um, how are your thought patterns? Uh, what are your energy levels throughout the body? So we take all these factors, and then we analyze them, and then we give you tips, routines, optimizations, so that you can follow, and we track that journey. So that's one part of what we are building.
That's great.
Yeah.
So I hope this application will bring lots of potential for the people out there. They are looking for these kinds of self development. So yeah, let's wait for that.
Mhm.
Right. Okay. And why do you think like students should learn generative AI? Because there are so many students out there. They're asking, should I start generative AI? If I learn, so what I can apply? What is the future potential of that? Okay. So what would be your opinion? So how much they should focus on learning this kinds of stuff?
Whatever you learn, if it gives you sort of independence of thought, independence, power to build, power to create. So generative AI gives you the power to create
Hmm.
things that are slightly out of your domain. For example, if you have never coded in your life, you can use generative AI to build you an application. Creates essays, for example, an application that analyzes your score, an application that teaches you, anything like that. So it gives you that power, the ability. And one aspect of it is, I think it's, you can learn anything you want
Hmm.
at the end of the day. There's so many different topics, right? I don't want, like, everyone should learn generative AI. It depends on your topics, but whatever topic you may choose, if you amplify that with the concepts that you learn with generative AI, that will take you to the next level, right? Say you are studying mathematics
Hmm.
and you are not able to understand one concept, right? And you want to use a Gen AI tool or a simple chatbot. How do you use it? What are the right prompts to give it? That's one way. But then you are more curious right now. you want to build something like you want to build an application, right? Um, that might help you in certain areas of life. Then you find that it might benefit other people. There you become more entrepreneurial, right? It will allow you sort of to build a new application and generate some income, right? So that potential is there. So one way I see it is the future people, there will be more, I think. Mark Cuban is a billionaire from the United States, is a huge, well-known entrepreneur. He said the next trillionaire would be some guy in his basement using a tool like ChatGPT or something.
Yes.
You see, so using this, you can build. It gives you the power to build, and in this day and age, it can open your mind. And instead of listening to a lot of YouTube videos or not having the right mentors, if you have something that right at the palm of your hands that gives you the ability to learn, the ability to build, and also teaches you how to build other things, that's, I think, all you need. And I encourage the young generation to understand more about artificial intelligence, just not to improve their lives, also with the focus on how do you solve problems in your society, in your country, right? In your community. Things like, if you think at that angle, I think artificial intelligence becomes like, sort of like a shining light.
Yeah, so you got all of your question. Right. So yeah, so I think it's been more than 1 hours. We're doing discussions on some certain topic. Now let's wrap up. So any motivational things, any last thing you want to convey for the audience?
Yeah, be curious. Always be curious. Always be in the process of knowing yourself. Talk to people. Express yourself. Travel the world. Seek knowledge. And always try to be, the best version of yourself. And be a humble human being. I think at the end of the day, we are, our lifespan is 70, 80 years. And, we want to sort of elevate ourselves, elevate nature, elevate all our surroundings, and live in a harmonious life. And there is no need to fight and take things from others. We always can grow together. So with that mindset, I think that's the try to live by that, philosophy. Yeah.
Thank you so
Hmm.
much.
Sure.
Yeah, guys. So always remember, uh, consistency and hard work is the key. Definitely smart work also. You don't need to always do the hard work, right? So be consistent enough. Whatever you have started, try to complete it. Try to be humble. Try to seek for different opportunity. Travel the world. Make the connections with different amazing minded people. Okay, definitely you will be getting each and everything you are looking for in your life. So yeah, thank you so much, guys, for watching the entire podcast, and I would like to thank especially Shamim for joining and doing these kinds of conversation. It was my kinds of dream actually. I will meet you and do the discussion face to face. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it, brother.
Thank you so much. So, okay, guys, we are done with the podcast. Yeah, this is all from our side. Thank you so much for joining, and I will see you next time.